scores!
Welcome in, folks, for another episode of What's Bruin. I am Chris. This is Gayle. Rough road trip for the Bruins, to say the least, at least the ending. Some bright spots along the way, but certainly not games that most people would want to stay up until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning to watch. Gayle, how are you doing after such a rough road trip?
Well, considering that I didn't play, no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I was not expecting that bad of a road trip.
I mean, given the teams that they were playing on the road trip, I don't think anybody was. I mean, right. you had Buffalo to kick it off, Calgary, Seattle. Like, I get it. It was West Coast, even Vancouver. But, I mean, you allow a touchdown yesterday to Seattle. That game gets away from you.
And the extra point.
Yep. You kick it off with the loss against Buffalo on the road. You lose in OT against Calgary. Somehow you pull out, I don't want to say somehow you pull out the win, but really no one was expecting a win going into Edmonton. So somehow you pull that W out. And then you beat Vancouver in OT, which was highly needed. Then you get 2 days off and you're like, all right, 2 days, rest up in Seattle, beat a struggling overall Seattle team, and then go home. And
yeah, but you say beat an overall struggling Seattle team, but their records in their last 8 games were polar opposites. The Bruins were 2-2, and
well, that's why I said overall.
Yeah, but
overall,
they were on a winning streak. So
I know they're catching everybody on a winning streak. Right. I mean, Buffalo, they've caught
right
on 2 winning streaks basically.
Right.
And it just seems, like of all the games that people were expecting a dub for, Edmonton and Vancouver were probably not the 2 people had circled.
Well, it's the same thing. Like, you look at the fact that they're one of the only teams to beat Colorado in regulation. You know what I mean? Like, this team is, I don't know that this team knows what its identity is.
They do from game to game. They know how to win games. They just don't always play to that identity.
Right. And the other thing is their blue line is completely cursed.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Blue line is completely cursed. Completely cursed.
Hampus Lindholm going back out as soon as you get Henry Jokiharju back, which...
and honestly, they weren't going to activate him if Hampus didn't go down.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they would have done something. It would have been interesting, but yeah, I mean, obviously on the road trip, that they're limited. They're not flying anybody else new out.
Every single time a defenseman comes back, someone else is on its way out.
Yeah. Do we have? I know the last update we had was Jordan Harris was skating again. Do we have any update on where he's at?
That's it. Man. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't rush him back and wait till after the Olympic break.
There's no need. There's no need to rush any of them back.
Right.
And the things that we're hearing about the Hampus Lindholm injury, how worried are you about it?
Anytime one of the top defensemen gets injured, I worry about it. Just because it's not a matter whether it's Charlie or Hampus. I get worried when either one of them miss time because it's becoming a pattern where it's too often. So I'm starting to be concerned about, are they rushing players back? Is it brand new? Is it not really? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think with Hampus, first of all, I'm kind of glad he wasn't selected for the Olympic roster.
Yeah, I was shocked that he wasn't, though.
I was surprised, but as soon as they put him on IR, I was like, all right. And then I heard more about the injury, and I'm like, I wonder if he's been playing injured this whole time and
That's
it's a
possible.
nagging kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so Sweeney kind of told them like, "Hey, our guy needs a break." And
Yeah, but
he may have even
that's a dick move. That's a
well,
dick move. You never
Hampus
see
may have even gone to them and said,
right.
"Look,
Well, that's
break."
different. That's different if it was Hampus himself saying, I can't
Oh,
go,
sure.
I need to rest.
Absolutely.
But if your GM goes in front of, your Olympic selection committee and says, our guy really needs some rest, that's a dick move.
100% agree with that. And obviously those are two possible scenarios. They may have just
Right.
looked at him and said, something's not right. We're not taking him.
Right.
And that's totally fine.
Well, and he didn't because he didn't play Four Nations because he was injured. He wasn't in Worlds because he wasn't back yet. So it could have been that they were like, you know what, we're just gonna go with what we had, and
yeah,
because they did well at Four Nations.
I'm not complaining that he's not on the team.
No.
I'm glad he's going to get the chance to rest.
Yeah, if he was 100% healthy, I'd be pissed if he wasn't on the team.
Yeah. I will say an injury kind of explains how he's been the last couple weeks if he's been playing through something. Right. At this point, we're right around the point where we were last season when things started to really start that nosedive.
Yeah.
And so
because heading into the Christmas break was Swayman's best play. And then coming out of the Christmas break, everything, started.
Everything was falling apart a little bit and that sort of thing.
But they weren't winning at all. Like, they just looked like ass.
Right. Well, granted, last night they looked like ass.
This year, when you look at the schedule, you're not going, oh, there's no way they're, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's certainly a different feel from last season. And we already got Timothy jumping in. Are we at the point where we need to hope Sweeney does similar moves to last year at the trade deadline and move out what he can for draft picks and prospects? He says this isn't a playoff team. I'm going to work backwards on that. This can be a playoff team. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk, and I wanted to ask you about this tonight. There's been a lot of talk about how bad the Eastern Conference is. Right. And I posed this. Kenny and I were on last night. I posed it to Julian McKenzie last night when he joined us because we were talking about his new book, and which Black Aces comes out next month. So pre-order it. Highly recommend. But I asked him, I said, is the East really as bad as we're hearing, or are we just seeing true parity in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I mean, you're so used to seeing the West being really not as competitive as the East. So this year for the East to be as bad as it has been, I think that's part of why people are like, oh my God, the East is horrible, where it's not. There are a lot of teams, like you look at every single team and who's been in and out of the lineups, who's been, I mean, Toronto's had their injuries. Florida definitely has their injuries. We know the Bruins have their injuries.
Tampa's gone through injuries. Vasilevsky missed time.
Like everyone's gone through injuries. Like in Ottawa, Linus Ullmark taking a leave of absence. I mean, and he was injured for, and Brady Tkachuk was injured.
New Jersey, Jack Hughes, the finger cut.
Right. I mean, there's just been so much that, and this is also usually the Western Conference, you have your leaders and your cellar dwellers, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that. But this year, the East, especially the Atlantic Division, it's like any given night, people are leapfrogging each other. And the wild card is such a crapshoot right now. Like 1 minute it's Pittsburgh, the next minute it's the Bruins, then it's Washington. And it's just like everyone's flip-flopping from game to game. No one has shown in the East true contention.
So in the Atlantic, Ottawa's dead last with 45 points. Mm-hmm. Buffalo is fourth with 48 points. obviously the first 3 make it in, and the next one there is that wild card contender. In the Metro, dead last is Columbus with 43 points, and they're 7 points behind Washington with 50, who's in that 4 slot. Right. And so, like, yeah, there's a little disparity overall, but to your point, the bottom dwellers, Columbus, 43 points, they're sitting behind, they're sitting out of a playoff spot by 8 points, a 4-game swing. No, not even. They're out by 6 points because Pittsburgh has the second wild card spot with 49.
Right.
So 2 weeks from now, Columbus could be in a playoff spot and be third in the Metro.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's, if you look at, it's just, if you look at the conference, right?
So
are the 16 teams. Right now, the Bruins are in 12th with 46.
Yeah.
They're 3 points out of 8. You know what I mean? They're 3 points out of, it's like any team that gets on that momentum swing and catches a team that's on a downward spiral is leapfrogging.
This entire conference is going to be what people are watching come March, April, as everybody's slotting in. Because I mean, when Colorado locks up the number 1 seed in a month, like, they're going to be fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but are you turning them on to watch Colorado Seattle for the 9th time? No. Are you watching Boston Florida because they're tied and one of them will get into the wild card spot? Absolutely.
Right.
Ian jumps in and says that New Jersey's a dumpster fire, which, again, injuries. They have been going through so many injuries, and that doesn't even include the Jack Hughes injury. I know Kovacevic has missed a bunch of time. Let me see who else. The names. Hamilton missed time earlier in the season.
Yeah, that's so big.
Dadonov has missed time. Dawson Mercer has missed a few games as well. Like, Kovacevic and Nemec are 2 big ones on the back end. And then obviously you have Jack Hughes up front, who missed significant time. So, and then of course, Markstrom has been in out overall. He's had some injuries. So they've had to rely on Jake Allen a lot. So it's a dumpster fire, yes, but through it all, they're still in the race.
Can we go back to the beginning of Timothy's question, though, about
this one here? Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure I want to see the exact replication. Like, I don't want to see Pavel Zacha go. You know what I mean? I don't want to see those type of players that are impacting this team in a positive way. So I don't know that. I mean, if they're still vying for, right now, again, they are 3 points out of a wild card spot, right? No. Yeah. 3 points out of a wild card spot. And it's not like there's the teams in front of them are, the teams in front of them. It's Toronto with 47, Florida with 47, Buffalo with 48.
Right.
So it's not like Boston can't. So when you say this isn't a playoff team, like you said earlier, and I'm not saying you say, Timothy said it's not a playoff team. I disagree. I think that, but I don't see Sweeney going all in, and I don't see him going all out.
Right. I don't. First and foremost, because we also have this question from 10 Shots here. What is their approach with Korpisalo moving forward? Would mutual termination work, or do they plan on to let the contract play out with Swayman's workload? I wonder how long he'll be able to sustain it. So, and then Timothy jumps in and adds that they don't believe in Korpisalo. Time to move on from him. So I think I wanted to get those out there because that's part of kind of the overall, what is Don Sweeney's approach to this roster? Because Korpisalo is still on the roster, as much as some people bitch, piss, and moan about it.
Right.
He is still on the roster. And I think you have to look at it in full as to, the big question is what's out there. Before you can sit there and go, oh, are they a buyer? Are they a seller? I ask you, what is out there?
Right.
What are you trying to bring in? I know a lot of people have thrown names out there like Jordan Kyrou. Thanks, but no thanks. Like there are reasons why he wouldn't fit here. There are reasons why other names that I've heard, and I'm blanking on some of them. Actually, I think I have one of the trade boards up somewhere. Rasmus Anderson, for instance. He's basically already said he doesn't want to extend in Boston. So don't waste assets to go get him. So who's out there, legitimately out there? Because, okay, yeah, I'd love to trade for Leon Draisaitl. Sure.
Right.
But Edmonton's not offering him up.
Right.
So let's not talk about those fantasy trades. This isn't fantasy hockey.
Right.
Now, that being said, is there a deal that you could work out with Edmonton and in reality have them take Korpisalo? Like, yeah, there's some work and fine tuning. Like, they have interest in Fabian Lysell. They've expressed that before. So, like, is there a reality in which I could see a multi-asset deal in place with Edmonton, maybe even a third party, to pull something off? Sure. But you really have to examine who is Edmonton willing to part with. Because, yeah, I'd love to say, okay, Isaac Howard. But you're not going to get Isaac Howard for Joonas Korpisalo. That's not reality. If you were going to get Isaac Howard back in a trade that sent Korpisalo to Edmonton, it's possible, but you're also throwing in probably a first and Pavel Zacha. So you have to
But I'm not willing to give up Pavel Zacha just to get rid of Korpisalo.
I'm not saying I am either, but I can see that kind of move.
But I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, if I'm Don Sweeney.
Right. Those are the decisions that you really have to kind of weigh if you're in Don Sweeney's shoes, because Pavel Zacha is the piece that you attach to Joonas Korpisalo to get Korpisalo out and get a better prospect. You know why we know this? Because that's exactly what Colorado did to you with Casey Middlestad. You wanted Zellers. You were able to get him for Charlie Coyle because you took Casey Middlestad.
Right.
So that's what you're going to have to do to somebody else. The question is it worth giving up Pavel Zacha? Who are you getting back?
Right.
And if not Zacha, hope they're willing to take a first-round pick.
Right.
And then which pick? I would rather move our own first pick, because I feel like if you're making that kind of move, our chances of going up in the draft are going to be higher. But that's now a weight that you have to weigh. Our first-round pick or Toronto's first-round pick? Because they're going to want this year's.
Right.
So let's see. 10 shots adds. If you do move Korpisalo, would a pick have to be involved, or would you retain his salary? Salary retention adds to those options. So
yeah, because the Bruins, didn't they retain part of Brandon Carlos?
Yes, Carlos, their only retention slot. They have two more that they can use. The question then becomes, though, because Carlos' contract has next year, and I believe, I'm going to double check real quick, I believe the year after. Where's their dead money?
But that was one of Sweeney's best moves last year.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, so they've got Brandon Carlo on the books this year and next year. If you retain on Korpisalo, you have this year, next year, and the year after that, which means you have 2 retention spots in 2 years and only 1 next year. So you really have to make a decision on that, because you only have 3 opportunities to retain money. And I mean, what happens if you get a better deal? If someone wants you to retain, a few bucks on Mason Lohrei,
right?
But they view him and they really want him and they just can't fit him under the cap, so they're willing to give you an early second. Well, now you can't do that because you don't have the retention spot.
Right. I'm not worried about the workload when it comes to Swayman. I'm not worried about the workload. Because this is what number one goaltenders do.
The only concern I have about it this year would be injury and mental fatigue for him.
I don't think he has mental fatigue. And what are you talking about injury? Let's not go there.
No, I'm just saying, like, for this season. Those are the only two concerns that I would have as far as his workload, but he needs to be able to play this workload. And I think long term, stretching him to 4, 5, even 6 straight starts will benefit the Bruins long term, because that means they can, like, when Tuukka Rask is starting 60 games, you didn't need Jaro Halak behind him. You could get away with Manny Fernandez or, Hanu Toivonen behind Tim Thomas kind of thing.
Right.
If you're getting 60 starts out of the guy.
Right.
So,
well, he started 23 of the last 30.
Swayman.
Right.
Yeah. 10 shots has a good question. Do you think Sturm has already given up on Korpisalo?
I don't think it's a matter of giving up on Korpisalo more than going with who, like, they want to give Swayman the opportunity to prove that he is that number one goaltender. And I don't think that they're down on Korpisalo, but I think if Swayman's feeling it and he wants the net, it's his net to lose.
I think some of it also comes down to, what are you trying to accomplish with who you have in net? So, for instance, a lot of people are going into the Seattle game going, it's got to be Korpisalo's net. It's got to be Korpisalo's net. Swayman made more sense. You just got the OT win in Vancouver. You're you're coming off of another losing streak. So you're trying to build momentum, and you're playing a team that's been better lately, but overall is one of the weaker teams in the league. You want to get that final push, and you have the game at home on Thursday against another weak opponent who Korpisalo can get that start for.
Right.
So it made more sense because Swayman is already in rhythm on that road trip. You put him in. If you get that win in Seattle, now you've got back-to-back wins. You're coming home. You put Korpisalo in the net on a fresh sheet of ice at home, coming off the road trip, and he's the rested guy.
Right. But the issue is that he's getting a start, every 8 to 10 days?
Well, here's my question. Remember last year when he made the comment about how he felt he should have more starts?
Yeah.
What is he doing this year?
What he said was, not that he felt he should. What he said was he wanted more.
Yes, he wanted more starts.
Right. Not that he earned more starts, but he wanted more starts. And that was the problem with Allmark and Swayman, is that they were splitting it, and they were like, one of them's like, I want more, you know what I mean? But there was a clear 1A, 1B.
Yes.
Where with Swayman and Korpisalo, it's 1 and 2.
It's a clear
1 and 2.
It's a clear 1 and 2.
That's the problem, is that any team that has a clear 1 and a clear 2, that 1 is getting the bulk of the workload.
Yeah.
And so if Korpisalo wants more games, he needs to find a team that needs a goaltender that he's not going to be behind someone else.
So I would also put with Korpisalo, what is he doing when he's in net to say, I need more starts? I've earned more starts. Is he playing well? He's playing fine. He's playing like a number 2. He's fine. But until he outperforms Jeremy Swayman and comes in, like what he needs to do, he needs to pitch a shutout tomorrow. He needs like a 30 for 30 kind of night, 30 for 31 kind of night, and carry this team against Calgary to get him back on winning track, to even remotely start a conversation of who gets New York, who gets Pittsburgh.
Right.
Like, and that's just because you sit there and go, well, it's back-to-backs. Now, Saturday, you're very likely going to get Jonathan Quick because Igor Shesterkin just went down with an injury.
Right.
Now, once there's more on that, honestly, if I'm Sweeney, I'm picking up the phone going, how interested would you be in Korpisalo? And just to try, I mean, depends on how bad the Shesterkin injury is, because Quick is also done at the end of the year. So having that extra term might be just enough appealing for New York to get him in, get him acclimated, and be next year's number 2. But they've got some people in their pipeline.
Well, and the other thing is, too, it's not like Joe Sacco doesn't know who Korpisalo is. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He coached him last year. And I know that he's not the head coach, but, Mike Sullivan is obviously the head coach. But, I mean, there are a few things there that, yeah.
There's that connection. Chris Drury's got to do a few things to the lineup as well. If they find out that Shesterkin's going to miss significant time, then that might put a fire under his seat to do something sooner. So, like, there's possibility.
Well, let's put it this way. So 10 Shots asked, do you think Sturm has already given up on Korpisalo? If you're Don Sweeney and Jeremy Swayman goes down for an extended period of time, are you comfortable with Korpisalo in your crease?
Over DiPietro, yes. Over my current other options, yes. Does that mean I'm not exploring what my options are to move on from Korpisalo? Of course not.
Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying literally, like you're talking about Mike Sullivan right now dealing with Shesterkin. You know what I mean? Dealing with New York, dealing with that injury. So obviously if Jeremy Swayman goes down for an extended period of time for this season, do you just ride out Korpisalo for the rest of the season with, whether it's DiPietro, as this backup, and do again kind of like what you did at the trade deadline last year without giving up too much, but just enough, you know what I mean? Because you don't need to technically rebuild still, you know what I mean? Because you have other prospects that can hopefully come and take the ice next year and different stuff like that. So do you explore picking up another goaltender?
That's where what's the mark, because now you've got plenty of teams out there with 3 guys. Right. Carolina's got 3, although Kochekov is done for the season now, so they're going to be riding Anderson and Bussy all year. Can't wait to hear about how that goes. The Sabres, they've got Luukkonen, they've got Ellis, they've got Lyon, and then obviously Levi down in the minors. Edmonton, they're carrying 3 still right now. They've had some injury, and then you're going to have some other younger guys like I just got a notification. Adam Henrique is out until the Olympic break for Edmonton. That might spur a move. But you've got other guys that are, like Nico Dawes down in New Jersey. Someone mentioned New Jersey earlier. He's going to want more starts. He's doing well. There's some guys down in the minors, and you still have DiPietro who, I'm not saying he hasn't earned a shot to see what he can do. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point, like, especially now that they're home and they have a 5-game homestand, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw Korpisalo get put on waivers to try to get him through to Providence, simply so they can start rotating through, because they can call DiPietro up, give him a game. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked if you start to see some of that type of stuff.
It's never going to happen.
I don't see it happening. It was never going to happen when they were on the road.
I would be shocked if Don Sweeney did something like that. Not with his goaltending. You'd want to talk about a forward or defenseman, possibly. No, definitely not. Sweeney is not playing that game unless he's ready to 100% cut ties with Korpisalo right now. He's not putting him on waivers.
That's where I'm at. Unless you are 100% ready to just say, we are done with him.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that happen.
Right.
I think you're going to see Korpisalo get the start against Calgary. I think he'll do just fine. And we're going to continue to have this conversation for a few more months about what's going to happen with the goaltending, because that's just where this team is at. They need to be patient with all of these situations because you also don't know what's going to happen elsewhere.
Well, and we've been having conversations about goaltending for the past 5 years, because between Allmark and Swayman, who's taking the net, who's not taking the net, who, you know what I mean? It's been a rotating conversation.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Ian mentions Matthews or Nylander. Who would you rather have?
Nylander, 100%.
100% Nylander. Ethan Russell jumps in and says Matthews because you need a real 1C. Not Matthews is not a real 1C right now. He's fighting something. He doesn't look the same. His game has been off, and I know he's done well like immediately recently, but it just seems to be
no coincidence that he's doing well after he got ripped to shreds for saying all this like stuff, and then his teammates are not backing him up.
Oh yeah, no, there's something going on up there in Toronto for sure. I'm all for it. I'm enjoying watching from the side
tonight.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Or was Brandon Carlo back last night? Brandon Carlo's back.
Yeah, he's coming off of injury. Ethan, what do you mean? What about Utah? Just the fact that they made the announcement that they're getting the Winter Classic. Yay, I guess. That's what I have to say. I mean, they're going to keep doing Winter Classics. People are going to keep complaining about them. Some of them are going to be better than others. Like, it's that's where we're at.
I have no problems with Utah getting.
I think the Smith family can do it right.
I don't care who gets a Winter Classic as long as it's the right matchup.
Yeah. 100%. The matchup is what's going to sell the game.
Right.
And really it doesn't matter who hosts it. It's who's the opponent. So Sniper says Bruins should be sellers 100%. They are no way going close to being a playoff contender, which I would say the numbers completely disagree with that. Look at the standings. They are much closer to being in the playoffs than you're saying. So, he's saying goaltending situation for Utah. Well, Karel Vejmelka just got named to the Olympic roster. So there's that. They also Utah's in a pretty decent spot because they've got youth. Like they've got Vejmelka signed for the next handful of seasons. Vanacek is the number 2. They're still eating a little on Connor Ingram's contract, but they have in the NCAA Michael Hrabel, who is a great goaltending prospect. They have a couple other guys in the system as well, but Hrabel should be in the NHL within 2 years. Like this year, next year, NHL ready at that point. We're seeing Jacob Fowler start to take the net in situations for Montreal. Hrabel's going to do that for Utah. And with Vejmelka in there, they're fine. They're not going to trade for Korpisalo, and they would trade for Swayman for sure. But I'm not dealing Swayman. I'm also not ready to move on from Swayman right now, given where things are at. He's a proven playoff commodity.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Utah's still worth watching though, because they are going to be ready to wheel and deal and make a push for the playoffs. So James Williams says, speaking of Winter Classic, wonder what happened with that original post on the NHL site about it being Nashville, Carolina at Bristol. Was that a stadium series though? Was Nashville supposed to get the stadium series?
I never saw that post, so I don't know.
I don't remember that post myself.
But Utah, Colorado, that's what's going to draw. It's Colorado. You know what I mean?
Yeah, state rivalry. If you've got a screenshot of that post, definitely send it to me. I'd love to look at it and see it. I don't remember seeing it before. But yeah, I mean, Utah, Colorado. I mean, there's a few other matchups in there. I'm sure they could squeeze a little bit out of with
I would
Utah.
have enjoyed the New York Florida game more if it was up north.
If it was in New York,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or in a neutral site up north. It just did not feel right in a dome.
No.
And I know it had the retractable roof, whatever. It's still, to me, that was not an outdoor game.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can pitch an outdoor to any building that has a roof.
No, because now the Stadium Series, that is a true outdoor game. They're playing in Tampa. They're playing at where the Buccaneers play. It's not a dome, it's an outdoor stadium.
Yeah. I think that I think the Winter Classic, because it's doing things like going to a dome, it's a little more played out, and it's not like the Winter Classic. Someone at one point made the comment, Winter Classic should be the original, not the original 6 or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if you could really do it that way. But the Winter Classic was billed as a throwback to pond hockey, playing outdoors on the ice with snow all around you. And it's not that anymore.
No, and I'm sick of hearing people say, oh, why wouldn't you reward the 2-time Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers? Well, you can
Give 'em the
reward them
Stadium
with the
Series.
game, but it doesn't have to be in Florida.
Right. Well, that, and also give them the Stadium Series. The Stadium Series is bridged as like Winter Classic. It should be in a classic area that has winter, that has, the backdrop that you're looking for. It doesn't matter if you're playing that game in Seattle, if there's ice on the ground, if there's snow in the backdrop, fine. It doesn't matter if you're playing it in New York. That's why Fenway, Gillette, those ones worked. If you have the Stadium Series, then you can put it literally in any building you want to.
Right.
Because it just goes Stadium Series. Play it in a stadium.
Right. Well, I mean, but it is not just Fenway and Gillette. You look at, Pittsburgh and Buffalo was at Highmark. It's not Highmark anymore, but that's where it was. You had the Bruins at Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Like there was just, but it was still the outdoor elements. It was still that you got the feel. And I know believe me, I went to the one in Gillette Stadium and I froze my ass off. It was horrible. The wind chill factor was absolutely disgusting how cold it was to be at that game. But I wouldn't trade that experience to be in Miami.
I was just going to say, but how if they came back to Gillette, would you go again?
Yeah.
Exactly. You were outright
especially
miserable.
Because it was the only Winter Classic they lost.
Right, but what I'm saying is you had a miserable experience in so many ways, yet in a heartbeat you'd do it again.
Oh, heartbeat.
So, because that's the point of the Winter Classic. So, let's see. Yeah, Lake Tahoe COVID games were the best looking outdoor games, but also there was no one there. So, I think that helped because they didn't have to worry about how it looked. I don't know. When you don't have an arena built for hockey, it also can make it really difficult because if you watched how they set up and you see the pictures of how they put the rink at Fenway, for instance,
right,
that's cringeworthy. Imagine being up on the monster and having to look at the play at home. I get it. It's an experience, and I'm not saying I wouldn't want to go, but
but they've had 2 at Fenway.
Exactly. I'm not saying they have to go back.
Right. They've had 2 at Fenway, and no one complained about visibility because it was just being there.
Exactly. The event itself is done for the people who go to the event. However, the optics, the game itself on TV are sold based on how it looks when you're not there.
Right.
And so when it's called the Winter Classic, I don't want to see palm trees.
I don't want to see black tarp around the ice.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
So anyway, I I will say Boston's probably gonna not worry about a Winter Classic anytime soon, other than maybe being the road team. Just because I don't foresee them getting one right now, between the way the team is, and they've already hosted a few.
Right.
So, other than the fact that they know they can get one done, there's really no
Well, I
other
mean,
way to.
that's the whole thing. I mean, between you look at the original 6 franchises, right?
Yep.
Has Toronto hosted one?
No.
Why haven't they hosted one?
Do they have an area where they can put an outdoor rink?
Doesn't necessarily have to be in Toronto.
No, I'm asking, like, in the general Toronto area, like, how close is that closest opportunity to put an outdoor rink? You know what I mean? Because, like, New York hasn't hosted one either. But you can't put an outdoor rink in Central Park in New York either.
No, but they could play at the is the Meadowlands still open?
I'd have to. They could do it at, like, Yankee Stadium.
But is the Meadowlands still open?
I'd have to check.
I don't know if the Meadowlands is a dome now. I don't even pay attention to where the Giant. I don't think the Giants and Jets play in a dome. I think they play in a regular stadium.
I don't know. Granted, that one's in New Jersey. Yeah, it's MetLife now.
New York Jets, New York Giants play there. I know it's New Jersey, but you.
I know. I'm looking to see if it's a dome. I don't remember. New York Rangers can't host a Winter Classic due to an agreement with MSG. That probably is. Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising either. I mean,
so have New Jersey host it and have them play New York.
Right. Like you can still
have them play
wait,
either at Shea Stadium. No, I don't even know if it's Shea Stadium anymore. But Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Where the Mets play, where the Yankees play, where the Giants and the Jets play. I know that Canadian teams have the Heritage Classic, but that's still why. But Toronto, if they play Chicago,
Boston.
I'm just saying,
like,
right.
You want a matchup,
right? But I'm talking about like if you or even Detroit, you have Detroit host another one with Toronto or Montreal,
right?
I mean, it's just they could do so much.
It is what it is.
Anyways, we're digressing on this.
I was gonna say we went into Winter Classic way more than we did Don Sweeney moves,
yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because that's.
By the way, hi Dom.
Thing. Welcome in, Dom. I hope you're doing all right and doing well. Thanks for tuning in last night, Dom. That was a great and awesome interview that Kenny and I were able to get with Julie McKenzie. So, anyways, yeah. The original question that we were asked before that. Oh, yeah. The couple comments that we had gotten about them not being a playoff team. Sniper's comment that 100% be sellers. I know I made the comment about the Zaka, kind of how he would have to be part of a deal in that way to increase what you could get for someone like Korpisalo. But that's not. To your point, that's not a move I'm looking to pull the trigger on right now.
Right. Sorry, I'm watching the Fleet.
Oh, that's right. They are playing tonight.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I know so many Bruins fans are so ready to just dump Korpisalo for whatever they can get. They'll just do it for a Winter Classic puck right now, but that's why you got to be patient.
But that's the thing. Like when people say, all right, so who was it that said the Bruins should be sellers? Who was it that made that comment?
We've had a couple people. Let's see. The first one I'll go back and find. I know two shots was right here. Sniper Shooter said that they should 100% be sellers. 100%. No questions asked.
Right.
And then we've had a a
Right.
few. They're not contenders.
But the problem is that who are you selling? It's not like last year when you had Brandon Carlo, Charlie Coyle, Brad Marchand. You know what I mean? You have those who are you selling?
Right.
Who on your roster do you think teams want that isn't named David Pastrnak, Morgan Geekie, Charlie McAvoy?
So James jumps in and says, I'd keep Zacha. Yeah, he'd get you a decent haul. Massive return right now, especially because he can play center. But the team still needs core guys. I'd trade Middlestead and Arvidsson before him.
I 100% agree with him. 100% agree with him. Because I think that Pavel Zacha has more of a future on this roster than Middlestead or Arvidsson combined.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
100%.
I know that he's going to get you the most return that isn't named Morgan Geekie, David Pastrnak. You know what I mean? Like those, they're going to get you. But but you're not trading away the guy that can play on the top line with David Pastrnak or on the second line with anyone else. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He may not be a 1C, but he's one of your best centers.
Yes. And he's an all situations kind of guy. Also, think about the types of teams that are going to want Pavel Zacha because of his durability, his flexibility, his ability to play anywhere in the lineup. Like, because of what he brings to your team, who's going to want him? Teams that are contending and are willing to extend him.
Now, the only team that, say Barkov doesn't come back this year. And
he's already on his way back.
Right. But say say he wasn't coming back, right?
Sure.
And Florida came to you and said, need Pavel Zacha. You know what I mean? Because he would fit in their lineup. But who are you getting back?
Right. Like,
because that's the type of player that Pavel Zacha can. He doesn't need to be the star. He's going to complement.
Right.
So he fits in a Florida. He fits in a Colorado. You know what I mean? He fits in those teams that don't really need a center, but.
As Dom says, if the Bruins traded everyone we wanted, they'd be penalized for not being at the cap floor. Yeah, especially if you follow through with the people who want to trade David Pastrnak because he turns the puck over.
Oh, please don't go there. I'm done talking that conversation.
Like, Zacha, if Vegas calls you on Zacha, who are you asking for?
Mitch Marner. I'm kidding.
I was going to say Pavel Dorofeyev.
Mitch Marner. I'm just kidding.
Right. Dorofeyev's someone who they can reasonably move.
Mm-hmm.
The guy can score goals, and you need help on the wing with guys who can score goals.
Right.
So if you're going to tell me that Pavel Zacha is going to net you Pavel Dorofeyev...
I'd never want Pavel Zacha to be with Hart, so no.
I'm just saying from a hockey perspective, it starts an interesting conversation that as a general manager, I'd be willing to entertain. Let's see. James says, interesting question. When Hampus comes back, if he performs well, would you think of moving him considering his injury history if a team offers a first and a good prospect?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you've got him locked up.
They're already struggling on that side of the ice for defensemen.
They're struggling for defensemen overall.
Right. Their blue line is cursed. We've already discussed that. I'm not moving right now. Me personally, if I'm Don Sweeney, the only defenseman that I would consider moving on from to get maybe something decent in return is Mason Lohrei. And not because I think he's a bad player, but I'm not ready to move on from Charlie McAvoy. I'm not ready to move on from Nikita Zadorov. I'm not ready to move on from Hampus Lindholm. I don't want to give up on Jordan Harris. I think that he has a very bright future in Boston. If he comes back. Now, what if Harris comes back with the same issue that Zaboral had?
Right. You don't know.
You don't know. Because remember, Zaboral was like the next coming of God on the blue line.
He was
And then
paired
he
with Charlie McAvoy.
right. And then he got injured. And when he came back, and that's the thing, like people are like, oh, the Bruins can't draft. The Bruins can't draft. It's not the Bruins' fault that Zaboral got hurt and couldn't come back from it.
Right. He would probably be your complimentary defenseman right now to Charlie McAvoy on that first line if he was able to come back from that injury.
You may not have Nikita Zadorov. You may not even have Hampus Lindholm because you wouldn't have needed that back then. You know what I mean?
Right. Your need would have been different.
Right. So it's hard to say if the Bruins defense is strong enough when we don't know how Jordan Harris is going to come back. We don't know how Hampus Lindholm is going to come back. We don't, it's too hard to say.
I want to see more of Kolyachonok in the lineup because that's how we're going to know how to make a decision on where he's at.
Right.
The Hampus injury, I think, allows for that to happen. Now that they're back home, I think you're going to see a little bit of lineup adjustments and stuff like that. And you could see him get another game or two on defense. Or he really was just an available defensive body that they're carrying until they can get through some of these injuries, until Jordan Harris gets back and, he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think what that move has really pointed out is the guys they have right now in Providence aren't coming up on the blue line.
Right.
There's no one in Providence that you're looking at going, you're going to come up in the next 9 months and fix this problem on our blue line.
Right.
I know people really want to see Freddie Brunet. Let him keep developing.
James just said it.
Yeah, I'd like Brunet to get a chance too. Like, he will get a chance. Right now is not the time for it.
Right.
Let him continue to develop his game in Providence where he's playing well. It's the same thing with DiPietro, with Zazic. Like, you got to have these guys you got to be patient with them.
Right.
Because as much as we also sit here and go, he's got to make a move, Sweeney's got to make a trade, he's got to make a trade. You have these guys who are now learning the system that Stern wants to implement down in Providence. Some guys are getting it better than others. And, if you trade Victor Arvidsson, then you're probably going to realistically see Fabian Lysell get more time on the right wing in Boston because that's the next logical step.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The answers on D aren't internal right now. Short term, no. No, they're not. But you have guys in your system who you don't know what their ceilings are going to be. And you don't know how far out some of them are going to be either.
Right.
Everybody's focused on James Hagens and Dean Letourneau and so on and so forth. But you've got other guys like Ty Gallagher is making strides down in Providence, looking real good on the right side. I know he's only on an AHL contract, but that doesn't take much to change. Soderstrom is playing well down in Providence, again, looking good on the right side. Now, they're not coming up tomorrow, but Soderstrom, if you trade Andrew Peeke, you could then be looking at bringing up Soderstrom and giving him the ride out the rest of the year. And if he shows you something, you can then re-sign him.
Right.
Right now, did anybody come into the season looking at Jonathan Aspero going, we're going to have him again next year?
Did anyone come into the season thinking that Jordan Harris was going to do what he did
in 5 games?
In 5 games.
Right. So, and now Aspero is eligible for a new contract. So, see where that goes. I liked seeing him get paired with McAvoy last night. I'm glad we got to see what that looks like.
Right.
Now, do I think they're going to stick with it? Probably not. I think you're probably going to see Zadorov get bumped back up with McAvoy. Maybe in the short term, you see it once more. There was enough there that, give it some time and maybe it turns into something. But, Hampus drives your second pair. It is what it is.
Right.
Zadorov and McAvoy are your number one pair.
Right.
It is what it is. So now
and
the rest
back to last year when Zadorov and McAvoy were like, no.
Right. You didn't want them together last year.
Right.
And who do you want next to Hampus Lindholm on this group? Because his ideal partner isn't here anymore.
Right.
His ideal partner was Brandon Carlo.
Right. It should be Mason Lohrei, but he's just not working out.
You'd go Hampus and Lohrei?
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate to see how that goes, but I don't mind Mason Lohrei on the third pair.
No, but that's the thing. If you look at this group, Mace, out of the ones that are playing, Mason Lohrei is the one you would want to see skating. You want him. He wasn't supposed to be your third pairing. He was supposed to be in your top four. He was supposed to either be with Charlie McAvoy or Hampus Lindholm.
Yeah. James
and
he
was with Charlie McAvoy when Hampus was playing with Brandon Carlo.
Yes.
But then, of course, Hampus got hurt, Charlie got hurt, and then Lohrei, you know what I mean?
Everything went to shit.
Right now, yes, he is your third pair. But it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, this is the concern I have about putting either one of them on their offside. Dom says they both suck on their offside. I personally haven't seen enough of either one of them on their offside to say that, but I'm going to trust Dom's opinion on it and say that neither one. That would be my worry, though, moving one of them to their offside, just because, especially Lohrei, he struggles enough on his own side. Right. Ethan is right. You need a real second right defenseman.
And that's why Hampus and Brandon Carlo worked so well together.
Yeah. Oh, and real quick, I missed Dom's comment here. I've also been talking about Bruin for years. I've also said he's made strides in Providence and continues to, but he's not ready yet. Let him grow in the winning situation, and he'll be good for next season. So yeah, I'm not going to argue with Dom on his projection for next season for Bruin. That certainly gives you an opportunity to move off of Mason Lohrei, especially if Aspero, Kolyachonok, if either of those guys or even Jordan Harris are able to show that they can take over that third line, that third left side spot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as Ethan says, you need that real second right shot D to pair with Hampus, but it's a matter of finding the right one. Carlo was the right one, but you also moved off on him at the right time.
Right.
Which has been proven.
Yeah, but Toronto fans hate him. Bring him home, Don. Bring him home.
I know, right? Probably wouldn't take very much. I will say this too. Can
you imagine if Sweeney figured out a way to bring Brandon Carlo back and they had Carlo and Minton?
That would be. I don't know if Maple Leaf Square would be able to handle that riot. I would certainly be okay with trading Andrew Peeke. I don't know how Marco Sturm feels about him anymore. Like, he still relies on him, but he is your only other right shot defenseman other than McAvoy.
Right.
So, like, is he relying on him because he has to, or because he truly is testing to see where he can put him, how he can? Because maybe he's looking at him as he can drive my third pair from the right side next year.
Well, because he wasn't horrible on the third pair. You know what I mean? He seemed to be like, do I want him and Mason Lohrei on that third pair long term?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
No. But
if you had a third pairing next year of Jonathan Aspero and Andrew Peeke,
I'd have no problems with that.
That's a good third pairing.
Yes.
Let's see. Free agency is shallow this summer. Yes, everyone's re-signing. So it'll have to be through draft or trade. Besides Anderson, not much for D in free agency. If Anderson hits free agency, I'd be willing to bet that he signs a new deal right after he gets dealt. Like, that's where we're at with it. Like, he hasn't been dealt yet as a rental, and no one wants to give up what that price is going to be without being able to talk to him about an extension.
Right.
So you're not giving up 3 assets for Rasmus Anderson for 2.5 months.
Right.
He is not that guy.
Not unless the only way you're doing that is if by chance the Bruins.
Are you reading Dom's comment too?
Yeah.
He says, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I have not given up on Lohrei. His best season was with a real coach who could coach D-men. What has changed the last 2 years? And I will add, this is not Sturm's staff. Except for Steve Spott.
Right.
So I'm not saying I'm ready to give up on Mason Lohrei either.
I'm not either, but I don't want him and Peak on the same pair going forward.
Right.
Long term.
Mason Lohrei is tough because you don't have very many options when it comes to the fact that he's not where you want him to be right now. I think he will do stuff over the Olympic break. There's obviously going to be some time in there, the mandated time off. But I would not be surprised if we hear about Mason Lohrei working with guys like Adam McQuaid and Zdeno Chara during the Olympic break. Because he'll have a good week plus where he can show up and work with those guys like one-on-one and get true defensive coaching from those kinds of guys. Mm-hmm. I do think Mason Lohrei is a victim of their inability to have practice time. 100%. I'm not ready to give up on him. However, I'm also, if a team calls and asks about him, I'm not hanging up the phone either. Because he can get you something. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they can go back in time and flip him for Hanifin like the rumors were all those years ago. No, I probably don't think they would because they didn't for a reason. And I know how adamant, especially Dom, has been about Mason Lohrei long-term being better than Noah Hanifin. Noah Hanifin's fine. He's fine defensively. There's nothing wrong with Noah Hanifin. But Mason Lohrei is also still only 24 years old. So, yeah, exactly. I bet if they put Lohrei on the market today, Toronto would pick him up yesterday. Just look at their coach with the Marlies. Yes, John Gruden. John Gruden, a real defensive coach. I know that's someone Dom has been keeping an eye on for a while, what he's done. So that's what's changed in the last couple of years, Dom. John Gruden's not here anymore. That's why I agree with Dom. I'm not ready to give up on Lohrei. Mm-hmm. Get him a real defensive coach. That being said, he can get you something. He also clears a few $1,000,000 off your cap if you move him. So at 24, I won't be ready to give up on him until he hits about 300 games. He's not even he's barely halfway there? How many games played is he at? How many games played in his career is Mason Lohrei at? He's at 156. Like, can we let the guy get to 200, 250 games? Minimum?
Well, I think part of the problem is his first season.
The 13 points in 41 games?
Well, and the fact that when he came up, then he got sent back down to Providence, then he came back up and he's stuck. You know what I mean? And he played very well during that time. And then last season happened. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've said it numerous times. His confidence, he got left without Hampus Lindholm, without Charlie McAvoy, a new defenseman in Nikita Zadorov, and then all of a sudden, Brandon Carlo's gone. Who did he have?
Yeah, and he's gone through coaching changes
Right.
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, he went through. He also went through Montgomery and Sacco and now Sturm. But he
Yeah.
responded well when Sturm made him a healthy scratch.
Yeah, it just. I like I said, I'm with Dom. Let's see, when Dennis Potvin won his first Norris, he said NHL D-men needs 200 games, and we're not there yet. Thanks, Dom. I knew I got the number from someone. I knew it had to be Dom. 250 games. Like, again, he's 24, 25 years old, and he's been playing defense for 6 years of his life, 7 years of his life. So, like, they drafted a defenseman who had been playing defense for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Give him some time, give him some patience. He has been thrown through the ringer for this first 156 games. He's been thrown through the ringer in the NHL. And quite frankly, he's doing okay. Has he been great? No. But you're also trying to, like, if you're saying, has he been Cale Makar? Of course not.
Well, no one's Cale Makar.
Right, but that's what people want him to be. Like, no, that's not what he's going to be ever. But does he have a higher ceiling than what he's at right now? Yes. That's the point. I'm with James. I'd love to host Toronto on another trade. You might have to wait for a regime change in Toronto. They might not be picking up the phone from Boston anytime soon. Those deals don't tend to work out in their favor. But, and where was the other one? Yes. Peak greater than Yoki Haru. I bet you the true serum would be that they wish they could have that Yoki Haru contract back.
I would probably agree with you on that one.
Now, the good news is he only has the limited trade protection this year. So next year you can move him wherever the hell you want to, but let's see. He's +5 this year, not bad from last year. Yeah. I think he's talking about Mason Lorai's +9.
Go. Hold on.
Did the fleet go with Frankel today?
Of course they did. What a play.
What's her goals against average now? Like 0.96?
Yeah. What a freaking goal. That was beautiful.
First goal of the game?
That was beautiful, huh?
First goal of the game?
Yeah.
Nice. I have to say, my daughter clicked with football the other day, and that was hilarious. Like, she's passively paid attention to it before, but then she like fully understood the whole point of first downs.
Yeah.
And after the game we were watching, she looks at me and goes, "Can we watch the next one too?" And I was like, "Are you asking me to watch football?" I said, "Wait till you watch hockey." And then she's been watching some of the Fleet, so she's catching on. It's just a little slower, which is nice for her. Right. How did Yoki Haru make the Olympics? Because he's not as bad as Bruins fans want him to be in their head.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is you got to look at which team he's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, can we give a Bruins prospect their props? You know where I'm going.
There's a few places, but yeah.
You know where I'm going.
Go right ahead.
Watch Mellis.
Don Melis getting named as, he was one of their original 6 that were named, though.
Right.
So we've known Melis was going. He's represented Latvia several times.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Like, a lot of people, like, when he's ready, which might be next year, He's going to be fun to watch in Boston.
I had a thought the other day. How do you feel about this third line for next year? Don Mellis, Fraser Minton, Alex Steves.
I have to see them together first, but I don't hate it.
Like, yeah, that I mean, I just sit there and I go, I'd love to see it. Like,
yeah,
let's see how they
I
go.
would love to see it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
It would be a nice, useful. Let's see. Lush Mills wasn't one of their first 6. I'm pretty sure he was. Oh, you know what? Maybe he wasn't. I could have sworn he was, though.
No, because you know what? Because the Bruins wouldn't have made a big deal about him going.
Yeah. No, 2 of their that and they revealed Merzlikins and Shelovs. Jurgensen, Bluger, Juvis Balinskis, and Rodrigo Abels. So I guess he wasn't. Yes, UMass product right there. I thought Los Melos was one of the original 6, but I don't know. Maybe I've just been watching him so long, thanks to Dom, that I was just waiting for it. Not to mention the fact that he's represented him so many times already anyway.
Right.
Were you surprised Blumel didn't make Czechia? No. No. He's been fine in the American Hockey League. I'm just trying to pull them up, all of them right now. Let's see. I mean, I'm not surprised as to, guys like Zacha making it. We knew Pastrnak was going to make it.
I mean, Pasta was. I mean, if you don't have Pasta on your team, it's because he doesn't want to be there.
Right. Now I'm trying to find the rosters. Here we go. Where is Czechia? They've got Pastrnak. They've got a couple from I can't imagine he's better. I mean, they took Andre Palat. What role is he going to fill for that team? I mean, they took Andre Kasha, Bruins legend. Dom says, if Blumel made the Czech roster, I'd cancel my internet. I wouldn't be able to handle anyone saying he should be in the NHL. Actually, we were talking about Hampus not making the Olympic roster for Sweden. I think, as Gayle was mentioning, he's been injured. He missed 4 Nations. He's injured now. He missed significant time last year.
He missed Worlds last year.
And he missed Worlds. Thank you. That's the other one. So I'm not surprised either way with Hampus. If you were to tell me he's one of Sweden's best defensemen and they took him for the team, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But by not taking him, going, he's been injured, that also makes sense. So, there's no surprise for him.
But it also could be that they wanted him and he just said, as much as I want to represent my country, my body's not 100%.
Right. They're taking Rasmus Anderson, Philip Broberg, Jonas Brodin, Rasmus Dahlin, OEL, Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, and Erik Karlsson. Who's Hampus knocking off of that list right now?
Well, that's the whole thing. We talk about this all the time, right?
Yep.
Who is he pushing out of a roster spot? Now, the same thing is even even just like you look at Team Canada, Sam Bennett was just told that he's an alternate if someone's injured.
Yeah.
Because who is he pushing out? You know what I mean?
Right. Who are you going to take over him? And like, same thing. Connor Bedard didn't make the roster. Who are you taking off to put him on? It's not just a matter of let me throw this name on the board. It's whose name is coming off the board.
Right.
You know, and you know, some of it'll make a little bit more sense when you see how they line up on the ice. Let's see. I'm more shocked Korpisalo didn't make Finland. Oh, thanks, Dom.
Wait, I'm like, who said that?
I mean, I'm not. They took UPL, no surprise. UC Saros, the starter, and Kevin Lankinen.
Right.
Like, come on, who's Korpisalo pushing out of there? Honestly, I'm glad he'll get the break too. Like, there's a lot of players on this roster that I'm sitting here going, I'm glad they're going to get the Olympic break. I think mentally it'll be a nice refresh for Pastrnak. You know, like I'm not as worried about him going over there and still playing. I am a little worried about the knee tendonitis that he had earlier in the year. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's held him out of the lineup a few times this year. But mentally, I think it'll be a nice little reset for him because he'll be playing with other Czech players and that kind of thing. Yes, Dom, I know it's sarcasm. That's the point. How do you feel about Elias Lindholm going?
He was on Four Nations. He was in Worlds and he played phenomenal. That was when he started to get his groove back. I have absolutely no problems with him going.
Me either. Middlestead, I think not like he was going to be going anyway, but Geeky, Middlestead, Arvidsson, they're kind of, the mental break will be good for them.
Well, and I loved absolutely Pasternak's comments about Geeky. We'll take him in, on our Olympic roster. Just whether, obviously we know that can't ever happen, but the fact that Pastrnak loves playing hockey with him that much.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
By the way, tomorrow when they host Calgary, I would not be surprised to see Geeky, Lindholm, Pasta reunited.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did want to ask you, how would you feel about seeing Geeky, Minton, Pastrnak? Would you try it?
That's the best part about hockey is you can try it and you're not like, you don't have to stick with it from shift to shift. So why not? Why not? Why not give them a couple of shifts? Why not see if they can generate anything? Why not give them, instead of just a couple of shifts, why not give them a period? See what happens. You know what I mean? My only thing is I'm not sure that Minton can match up against the center that would be matching up again. That's my question.
That would be my concern. But defensively, he's been fantastic.
Right. Because if you look at who they have for centers down the middle, right? Elias Lindholm and Pavel Zacha give you the best opportunity to win the faceoffs to get the puck to Pasta and Geeky.
Anyone but Kuzi with Pasta, please. Apparently, Ethan Russell doesn't like that line. Husadinov, Minton, Pastrnak.
Husadinov played with Pasta and Geeky when Elias was injured.
Yeah.
And they weren't bad.
No.
They weren't bad at all.
He's been great on the forecheck. His speed is something that Pastrnak does well with. He's a battler. You'd like to see a little bit more point production, but if that starts to come around, like that's what I'm saying. Like if your substitution on that line is Minton up top and Elias Lindholm out of that spot, like you said, the big concern now becomes the center matchup. Correct. Because now you're putting Fraser Minton against the Leon Draisaitl's, Connor McDavid's, Austin Matthews, Sasha Barkov. Right. That's the matchup he's getting. Sidney Crosby. That being said, he trains with Connor McDavid. So
right.
like,
but again,
Connor Bedard, rather. Sorry.
But again, we want to see the sample size before we say yay or nay. We haven't seen the sample size. So, and
James likes the line as it is.
Right.
That being said, I don't hate how they're doing it. And I think it's hilarious every time we see the lineup and someone goes, Pasta on the third line? What the fuck are they doing? Like, have you not been watching? They've done this a handful of times this year. Right. I don't hate what they're trying. My question is, why aren't they trying a few other things?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that most coaches, when you find something that works,
and we've seen Steve's with Pasta, he moved up a couple lines before.
Well, not to mention Pasta was on the third line. But I think like the same reason why Bruce Cassidy didn't break up, or not even just Bruce Cassidy, Claude Julien, Bruce Cassidy, Jim Montgomery, Bergeron, and Marchand. You know what I mean? And then even when Pastrnak was on that line before, and Jake DeBrusk was kind of like faltering, because when you have that line that's scoring and that you have a hard time saying, well, let's spread it out. Let's move people around when you already have something that works. But now, like, Sturm has a clean slate.
Yeah. He's not coaching this year for his job.
Right.
That's why I'm surprised we haven't seen a little bit more.
But again, this isn't last year's team that was dead last out of a playoff spot pretty much all season long. They're in and out of a playoff spot. So you're still not putting things in a blender. You're just trying to get that wild card spot, if not better.
Sorry. Ernie had made a comment a while back on one of the shows. Now do you believe me that we are 5 players away from a contender? First and foremost, my answer to that is no. They're not 5 players away from being a contender. But I do like Anthony Russell's response. Almost any team would be. Depends on who those 5 players are, though. My point, Ernie, is you have 220 penalties taken. Mm-hmm. You lead the league in penalties taken. Mm-hmm. You're putting massive pressure on your PK. You are 28th in high danger chances allowed.
Can you back it up to 286 penalty minutes?
Yeah.
That's 286 minutes that David Pastrnak and Morgan Geekie are not on the ice.
Right. And oh, by the way, I'd have to go and look and see how many of those penalty minutes are Zadorov and McAvoy and Lindholm.
Right. Your top 3 defensemen.
Right. Oh, right. And let's also put in that mix Zacha, because he's not a huge penalty taker, but he's a PK. He's a penalty killer for you.
Right. Well, and Pastrnak ends up in the box a lot.
Pastrnak ends up in the box a lot. Yep. But no, the top 6 that I'd be wondering how many minutes do they hold? Mm-hmm. Kastelik, mostly because he's been a brute. Mm-hmm. Tanner Jeannot. Mm-hmm. Sean Kuraly, Zadorov, McAvoy, and Lindholm. Your top 6 penalty killers.
Right.
Because when those guys are in the box, you put so much other pressure defensively. And oh, by the way, that's contributing to the fact that they are 28th in the league in high danger chances allowed.
Right.
So, no, you're not 5 players away, because guess what? They are still top 10. They are 6th in goals scored in the league still.
Right.
So if you're telling me they're 5 players away, you're telling me they're 5 players away, what 5 positions are they short on? Because it sure as hell isn't up front.
No. And you look at the lack of discipline, and I know sometimes Zadorov is called just for being bigger.
Asking you shall answer.
I mean, a lot of the times Zadorov is in the box just for being bigger. I mean, let's be realistic, right?
No, 100%.
But regardless, 286 penalty minutes. And that's exactly back to
how
back.
many of those penalties are back to back after we kill the first one or turn into 5-on-3s? Feels like a lot. Absolutely.
Right. So, and again, so now the ones that turn into 5-on-3s, a lot of the times there's only 36 seconds gone in the first one. So it's almost a full 2 minutes of 5-on-3.
By the way, I saw last night, after last night's game, I saw someone tweet out, "Oh, you can't pin this loss on Swayman, blah, blah, blah." And my immediate response, I'm putting a majority of last night's loss on Jeremy Swayman because you cannot take that penalty. You cannot. You're already on the PK. I don't give a damn if he's in front of you like that. He's not coming after you. You cannot do that poke check and trip him.
Okay, but
it's going to get called every time.
Okay, but again, let's get back to the fact that 286 penalty minutes, right?
Yes.
113 of them is Nikita Zadorov. There's half your penalties right there. So then you have those.
Someone look it up for us. Zadorov, Kastelik, Hampus, Jeannot are top penalty minutes on the team.
Right. Okay. So, but you have Zadorov, who's one of your best penalty killing defensemen, is in the box.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves Charlie on an island by himself.
Yep.
Because you're not going to put Charlie and Hampus together because you need that second.
You need the second unit.
You need the second unit. So that's number one. Number two, again, 113 minutes alone with Zadorov in the box. David Pastrnak is on the bench.
Yep.
That's just 113 minutes that David Pastrnak is not on the ice.
Yeah.
And not to mention when you come out of it, everything's all messed up because your penalty killers now they're not coming right back out with their normal lines. So you get that little bit of lag and leftover. Yep. Not to mention, oh, by the way, you just killed a 5-on-4 and now someone else is going in the box. Just like James
Or you're killing a 5-on-4 and now it's a 5-on-3.
Right. Or it's another 5-on-4. Like they successfully kill it and it's been 26 seconds and they end up right back in the box.
Last night, Mason Lohrei had a great 2-on-1 breakup.
Oh, that was his when he stopped the puck.
Yes.
That perfectly played that puck perfectly.
David is asking thoughts on 6 contributions to Bruins defense. I don't think he's been as bad as the punching bag he has been for Bruins fans.
Since he's come back and been put on the third pairing.
And that is why, and it's a play like last night where that's why I sit there and I go, I'm with Dom. I'm not giving up on him yet. Mm-hmm. Give him till that 200, 250 game mark before you even remotely say giving up on him.
Right.
Because he's still learning a whole bunch. Shockingly, Middlestad has only 2 penalty minutes all season so far. Probably just jinxed it and he'll get a ton now. So, but right now only 2. Yeah, and also let's not forget too, how many times has Kastelik or Zadorov gotten 10-minute misconducts?
Right.
39 for Hampus, for Jeannot, Hampus 36 and Kastelik 80. Add that to the 113 penalty minutes for Zadorov.
Right.
So let's see. 70, 100, that's 150 minutes just between Jeannot, Hampus, and Kastelik. So 200 and you're pushing 250 minutes collectively between those 4 guys. And they're key penalty killers. That's the problem. So now you're taxing everyone else that much more. It's a complete domino effect. And oh, by the way, as you pointed out, that's all time that David Pastrnak, your best goal scorer, and Morgan Geekie are not on the ice. Neither one. Now, would I be shocked if all of a sudden when there's 15 seconds left on a power play and you swap power play penalty kills and you swap penalty kill units and all of a sudden we see Pastrnak out there on a penalty kill? I wouldn't be shocked by
First of all, it depends on who's coming out of the box. You know what I mean? Like if Geekie's in the box, then of course Pasternak's going to be on the ice. You know what I mean? To end the PK because then you get your line together. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm just saying, as soon as we start seeing Pastrnak on the PK, somebody's going to lose their shit. Now you got him killing penalties, and
No, he's
it's
not
going
going
to
to be killing penalties, but of course he's going to be out there if Geeky's coming out of the box. Because if, say, it's Pasternak and Zaka or Pasternak and Elias Lindholm for the last 15 seconds, and Geeky's coming out, and say Pasternak has the puck on his stick, who do you want feeding that puck to Morgan Geeky breaking in out of the box?
I know.
Do you want it? Do you want it to be Sean Corrali, or do you want it to be David Pasternak?
Yeah. The whipping boy, Lohrei, only has 8 PIMs, second least on the team.
I don't think Lohrei is. Well, he is a whipping boy. Not by me, not by Chris, but by a lot of Bruins fans.
No, yeah, that's
just
where
like we always say,
James
Bruins fans hate their goaltenders. Bruins fans love to nitpick on the flaws without looking at the things that people do well.
People are looking at Mason Lohrei and they're complaining about what he doesn't do as opposed to looking at what he is doing. Same thing with Korpisalo. Same thing with Jeremy Swayman. People are looking at what the player isn't doing and going, oh my God, they're not doing X when it's not their role. That's like coming on here and us going, oh my God, Sean Corrali's not scoring.
Can you pull up David Palmer's comment? Are you blaming the losses?
How many losses are you prepared to watch giving least PIMs because doesn't do much? PIMs don't mean shit when it comes to how he's playing defensively.
But
get a better argument, David. Come on.
Then again, are you pinning the losses on Mason Lohrei?
Yeah, the losses have nothing to do with Mason Lohrei's learning.
Last year, you could pin a lot of the losses on Mason Lohrei because, again, he was left on an island by himself. You know what I mean? You're not going to pin it. You're not going to be like Mason Lohrei cost them in this game. But yes, Mason Lohrei had a horrendous season last year. And again, no Charlie McAvoy, no Hampus Lindholm. It was Nikita Zadorov's first season, and he played like ass in the first half of the season. Mason Lohrei was left on an island by himself. And then again, in March, Brandon Carlo went away. So you had Mason Lohrei, Nikita Zadorov, who is still learning Boston, never mind the system.
And oh, by the way, got a brand new coach from who he signed on to play with.
Yoki Haru, Peak, and Wotherspoon. Those were your defensemen. What are you watching, Chris? You're ignoring me. Hello?
No, I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to count. Let's see. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's 9th on the team in total time on ice. And that doesn't include the 2 goaltenders that above him. So technically he is 12th on the team in time on ice. And he's the one that you're going to blame the learning curve on.
Not to mention, it's not like he's playing top D minutes.
Right. And oh, by the way, he's averaging 1640. So Lindholm, Yoki Haru, Zaka, Geeky, Pasternak, Peak, Zadorov, Hampus, McAvoy, and the 2 goaltenders all average more ice time than him. And you want to blame it on him? How are the Bruins doing while scratched? What's your point? He was scratched for what? 5 games? 4. Sorry. I overshot by 1 and I rounded to the nearest 5. So you're going to base the entire losing process on 4 games?
Well, not only that, but you got to look at the fact also is that since he's come back, they lost Jordan Harris. Charlie McAvoy's been in and out of the lineup. Hampus Lindholm's been in and out of the lineup. They lost Jonathan Aspero for a little while. They lost Michael Callahan for a little while. They lost Yoki Haru for a little while. So, I mean, the list again.
Hold on. Let me counter with this. How did the Bruins do when David Pasternak was out? Do you want to move on from Pasternak now too? Because guess what, Pasternak and Mason Lohrei have both played 38 games.
Right.
If you move on from one, you got to move on from the other based on your logic. Because they play better without him in 4 games.
Oh, wait, who has more turnovers?
Or five games.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
Who has
5
more
games.
turnovers, Pastrnak or Lohr?
Let's do the turnover game, huh? Oh, Pasternak's giving it away 66 times to Mason Lohrei's 50. Trade them both. They both suck. Come on, David.
Oh.
Someone should really ask Coach Sturm what his thoughts are.
His thoughts on what?
What his thoughts are on
Thoughts on what? Be a little bit more specific.
I'm guessing where he's going with this are what his thoughts are on Mason Lohrei and how they were with him without him in the lineup. And I'd be willing to bet that he is sitting there going to say he still has some learning to do. He's still a young player with a high ceiling, and they're looking to get more out of him.
Pasta is a
and
negative
that's what
10.
they're going to continue to do.
Pasta is a negative 10.
Oh, we got the big plus-minus statistic now. Guess what? Your best plus-minus players are Jonathan Aspero and Fraser Minton. So why aren't they getting more ice time? Oh, wait. They're playing their role.
Please pull up James Williams' comments.
David?
No, not that one. You got to pull up James.
Oh, this one. Should have moved on from those bums, Bergeron and Marchand, years ago because they were winning without them, too. Yep. Let's see. David, how has he been since he came back from scratch? Much better defensively. Oh, you mean David Pastrnak, who missed time?
No.
No. I got you. He's talking. Sorry. I'm too busy.
How has Mason Lohrei been since he came back from being scratched?
I thought it was David's comment asking about following up his Pasta's a -10 comment.
Right.
I read it quick. So let's see. I don't know what he's saying right to, but maybe the Aspero and Minton comments, which, by the way, Jonathan Aspero only missed so much time because he was injured. He is now a top 4 player. Okay, you love 36? What? Oh. This is not a love fest for Mason Lohrei, David.
No, because if you saw, 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, how long are we going to stay on the Mason Lohrei experiment? I believe I said that.
And I was telling you to be patient
right, but
still.
Didn't I say to you that at what point do the Bruins move on? Right? You and I had this long...
We had that conversation.
We had this long, extensive conversation. Now, again...
And what did I tell you then? Right,
the same thing you're saying tonight, that he needs to
give him till 250 games. That's what I said. That's
100%,
what I'm saying now.
100%.
This has nothing to do with how much I love Mason Lohrei or not. Give the guy time to play and develop before you just cast him aside.
And let me pose this question, Mr. David Palmer. Who are you putting into the lineup instead of Mason Lohrei that is healthy right now? Healthy, not injured, healthy. And that's a serious question. Who are you replacing Mason Lohrei with?
Right now, you're only.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking you.
No, I'm saying right now.
I want an answer from you. I want an answer from David. I want David to answer that question. I want him to tell us who he thinks should be in the lineup that's healthy over Mason Lohrei. Healthy, because Hampus Lindholm is not healthy right now.
Yes, Dom. Exactly. Fast food mentality. Well, I think we have his answer.
You would have kept Parker Wotherspoon.
No.
Over Mason Lohrei?
That's.
I mean, I didn't hate
DM,
Wotherspoon. I didn't hate him at all.
No,
but I see more of an upside to Mason Lohrei than I do Parker Wotherspoon.
Let me just see. So Mason Lohrei right now has.
But I want to know, David. David didn't answer the question. Who on the Bruins are you replacing Mason Lohrei with that's healthy? Who do you want? And I don't want an answer from you, Chris. I want an answer from David. Who on the
Bruins? What I'm saying is I think Wotherspoon was supposed to be his answer, saying I would have kept him and he'd be
I'm talking
my
about
third guy. But that's not an option.
About right now in this lineup. Who is healthy on this roster that you want to see playing instead of Mason Lohrei, who's healthy? Because obviously, if they're fully healthy, we don't know if Mason Lohrei is going to be. Mason Lohrei could be odd man out when Jordan Harris gets back.
All right, so Kolyachonok is his answer.
Okay.
First of all, yes, Dom is correct. Right now, David, you are having a fast food mentality. You want it done now. You're not being patient with Mason Lohrei. Of course, the Pens, like Parker Wotherspoon, keep this in mind. He is also paired with Erik Karlsson on their top pairing. I would replace Lohrei with Leach.
Dom.
Callahan is not no. If he was better, he'd be not in Providence.
Right.
I
like Michael Callahan. I have no issues with Michael Callahan.
And if Mason Lohrei could be your top pairing defenseman on the left side, you wouldn't have needed to bring in Nikita Zadorov, and you probably could have Callahan on your third pair. But guess what? He's not there yet. Cancel the Chara retirement ceremony and have him come back.
He would probably still play better than half their defense.
So here's the other thing, all right? Parker Wotherspoon, 41 games played. So he's played 41 to Lohrai's 38. So 4 more games. He's averaging 20 plus minutes of ice time because, again, he's top pair next to Erik Karlsson in Pittsburgh. Mason Lohrei has 16 minutes of average ice time per game. He's played a total of roughly 850 minutes to Mason Lohrai's 630. Mason Lohrei still has more points than him. Not by much, 2 points, but he has more points. He's doing it in less time. And, who was it that wanted to know PIMs and giveaways? 30 penalty minutes for Parker Wotherspoon to Mason Lohrei having 8. So Parker Wotherspoon is penalizing his team more and putting them on the penalty kill more. Oh, and Mason Lohrei has 50 giveaways. Guess how many Parker Wotherspoon has?
75.
67.
I was close.
You were, actually. So
and he's playing with Erik Karlsson.
So, yeah, right. I wonder how many Erik Karlsson has. He's playing more minutes. He's penalized more. He's not scoring more. And he's giving the puck away more. You really want him to be your third-line defenseman just because Pittsburgh's putting him in a role that's not suited for him?
Pittsburgh has no choice but to put him in a role.
I was going to say, that's not a great argument.
That's the whole thing. Like, again, we talk about the teams that have no choice, right? Like, we talk about the fact that the Sharks had no choice to play Celebrini and Will Smith. You know what I mean? Like, they had no choice. They had no veterans that were being pushed out of the lineup.
Solution. I'd rather see Zach Werenski and Quinn Hughes. Yep, I agree. I'd love to have one of those guys on the left side. For sure. Good luck getting one. What exactly are you watching? I've seen every single team throw the puck in on number 6 in the corner, knowing he will give the puck up. First of all, Parker Wotherspoon's given the puck up more. So your argument of replacing Mason Lohrei with Parker Wotherspoon doesn't hold water. So I'm not going to trust your eyes when the numbers and your argument fall apart.
If the opposing team is throwing the puck in the corner, that's not Mason Lohrei giving the puck up either. I think we have a different definition.
You might lose board battles. You know who else lost a lot of board battles in Boston is actually winning quite a few in Pittsburgh as well? Justin Brazeau. Guy learned how to stay on his feet. Guess what? In Boston, he couldn't. Does it mean moving on from him was the wrong move? No.
No, and I'm not saying that the Bruins have to be married to Mason Lohrei for the rest of life.
I just realized that help on the PK is right there on the bench. Leach on defense and Sherman Kelly up front.
No, but seriously,
David,
you still haven't answered my question. Oh, he did. He said Kolyachonok.
he said
Have we
Kolyachonok,
seen enough of
but
him though?
no. I want to see him more. I wouldn't be upset if the move that Sturm comes up with is to pull Lohrei out of the lineup and throw Kolyachonok in there for a game or two. I'm not going to be pissed. That's the kind of season that we're having. That's what this team is this year. Have I seen Wotherspoon play this year? Yes. I'm sure you haven't, because if you have watched Parker Wotherspoon play this year, you'd realize that that's not what he is. They are overplaying him. They're doing to him what we did to Mason Lohrei last year. And he's just doing a better job of it because of what he went through last year. I think he means, no, I've seen enough of Mason Lohrei. 3 is where I think he's saying. Great. You can feel like you've seen enough of them. Guess what? Stop watching, because they're going to keep playing them.
You know my old colleague Gio? You probably don't know him, but so he works freelance for another company.
Sorry, Ernie, you could replace him with one of the 5 players we're short of. But yeah, again, if you're replacing your third pair left defenseman as one of those 5, yeah, you're 5 players short. Anyway, sorry, you were saying about your colleague.
Yeah, he is at the Celtics game, and someone just dropped their AirPods from the press box down to the balcony.
Oh, no. Oh, God. You know what? The Celtics are 5 players short, too. Oh, man. I love our viewers. I appreciate the comments. I really do.
The passion.
David, I do. And I'm not trying to make fun of David. You're very much entitled to your opinion. It just, this is why fans aren't GM.
Well, and the other thing is too, honestly, like you've said it, 126 games. 156 games. I was 30 off, right? 156 games.
Oh, and that's real quick, just
that's not even 2 seasons.
And just since we're doing the comparable, Parker Wotherspoon only has 152. I'm not saying Parker Wotherspoon's done, and that but he's also 28. Mason Lohrei's 24. Big difference.
Last year, I was really high on Parker Wotherspoon through a lot of stretches.
I was too,
because when he got more ice time, he seemed to play better as he gained more ice time. But when he was in and out of the lineup, he was not playing well at all. I don't begrudge anyone that plays well for another team that didn't quite work out in Boston. And if I'm looking at it like you just said, if I'm Mason Lohrei, Parker Wotherspoon, and then people,
we'll see who laughs last when that's not the last laugh though.
But and then the other thing,
the last laugh would be which team wins with which player.
How did the Bruins acquire Parker Wotherspoon? Do you remember?
Wasn't he?
He was not a draft.
No, wasn't he a free agent?
Right. And how did the Bruins acquire Mason Lohrei?
They drafted
him.
So
how many times are we going to hear Bruins fans say that the Bruins don't know how to develop their prospects, but you want to give up on them?
Right.
Hi, Alina. Sorry.
They can't develop Mason Lohrei in 156 games, considering where he's at. He was also a 2nd-round pick. He's not a top 5 pick. Recall you talking Lysell over Brazeau. What?
Me or him?
Talking Lysell over Brazeau for what? I need a little bit more here. Honestly, I'm the one, which I find this one even funnier because I'm the one who's constantly told that I have a narrative against Fabian Lysell.
I have no opinion of Fabian Lysell. So
all I say is he hasn't earned the call up in Providence yet. Like, there's a reason he's staying down there. And the conversations that I've had with people back up what I've been saying. There's a reason he hasn't been called up yet. And it's not just because of NHL opportunity. It's because of the player and what he's earned for a call up. So as far as taking Lysell over Brazeau for what, I don't know. But let me go check and see where Justin Brazeau is at right now. Oh yeah, 122 games played, undrafted. Fabian Lysell, first round draft pick. So yeah, I don't think anybody is taking. All you said was Brazeau couldn't stand up, always falling down, and he was. He was. Lysell's the superior skater to Brazeau. That's not news to anybody. I don't get where he's going with this. I really don't.
I'm confused.
Multiple things can be true at one time. Lysell's a better skater than Brazeau. Lysell's probably going to have a better scoring career when it's all said and done than Justin Brazeau. Fabian Lysell was drafted in the first round. Justin Brazeau was undrafted. Justin Brazeau is also 27 and 6'6", 230 pounds. Fabian Lysell is neither of those things. So Justin Brazeau getting knocked on his ass on a board battle in which he outweighs and outtowers most players is a problem for him. Fabian Lysell is not the one who's supposed to be going in on all those board battles nearly as much as Brazeau. So if Brazeau can't come out of the board battle with the puck because he's on his ass, that's a big problem.
Justin Brazeau he had the anomaly, whatever that word is. Didn't he like score 4 goals in 4 games or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah. He's up to 12 goals in 27 games. He's got 20 points this season. Not saying anything against him as far as being a bad player.
But there's a reason why the Bruins drafted Fabian Lysell for his offense, not his defense.
Right. Oh, and by the way, Justin Brazeau is only averaging 13 minutes of ice time. So do we want to blame him for Pittsburgh being where they are in the standings?
Pittsburgh is above the Bruins right now. So
I know, but they're not first. They're not first. So is it his fault?
Yeah. Listen, if you can't do things with Sidney Crosby, then you shouldn't be in the NHL.
I don't even know who he's.
That was a joke.
Lined up with. Joke. I know, but I know he's gotten some time with Crosby because Brian Rust was hurt. Obviously, Malkin had been out for a while. They just got Chinakhov. I think they got the addition of Chinakhov helped because that allowed them to move Brazeau down from playing with Evgeny Malkin. So, and also back to this. If all I said was Brazeau couldn't stand up and was always falling down, then yeah, go back and watch him in Boston last year. He was always falling down. I wasn't the only one saying
that. And I have a question. What does that have to do with Lysell?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't want to end the show yet because I'm waiting for his next follow-up. But I don't know where else to go.
I know. Dom got quiet too.
He might be putting his grandson to bed. True. It's that time. I just realized what time it was. How are the Fleet doing? Do you have any news on the Fleet? Let's divert to the Fleet for a little bit because I know their game is on right now. I presume based on your reaction.
Yeah, they're up 1-0 right now.
It could be the final score with Franklin net.
Yeah, she's got a .948, by the way.
Can we trade Korpisalo for her?
No. I need her on the Fleet. It's 1-0. 5 minutes left in the second. Shots are 18-11.
I'm still confused, David. Was the argument last season? Oh, Dom's making me hungry now, eating boiled eggs over there. I don't know where to go with this, David, because first of all, last season was last season. First and foremost, like let's that was a completely different team. Also, last season they traded Justin Brazeau to Minnesota. And even Minnesota looked at him and said, "We're not re-signing him." Kyle Dubas, who was the guy who gave him his original chance in the American Hockey League, went back and said, "I'll give you another shot based on what you did in Boston and in Minnesota." So Kyle Dubas thinks highly of Justin Brazeau, which is fine. And if you paid attention to everything I said about Brazeau last season and the year before about him falling down, was if he could learn to stay on his feet. Guess what? He's had 2 off seasons to go skate and learn how to stay on his feet. So I'm not going to begrudge the guy for going out and working on the weaknesses in his game. Good for him. He's not here anymore. Boston's moved on. Guess what? So have I. Guess what? I think I've got him on 3 of my fantasy teams. Because if he can skate, what? I probably dropped him at this point. I know I had him on a couple of them. But if he can skate, he is a good net front guy. There are things he does well. I also pointed those out. But thanks for not mentioning that.
Yeah. Details.
Right. Glenn Hall died today.
So the Fleet have a ton of players going to the Olympics as well. 3 on Team USA. Megan Keller, Haley Wynn, and Aaron Frankel, of course.
Is there any doubt Frankel won't start?
No. Alina Mueller will play for Switzerland.
Where's Dom's sarcasm comment?
What?
I was looking for Dom's sarcasm comment. Of course Frankel's starting.
Yeah. Laura Klug will be playing for Germany. I don't even know who else. Oh, defender Daniela Pajova is playing for Czech. It's a lot of Boston Bruins and Boston Fleet are representing their countries in the Olympics.
Boston hockey fans should be proud of that one.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not all from Boston, most of them enjoy playing here.
Well,
there was a comment.
And you know what? Alina Mueller, Aaron Frankel, they may not be from Boston, but they both played at Northeastern. They consider Boston their home. I mean, Frankel's from New York.
Well, as long as they can keep her around. That's a CBA I have to dive into.
It's not, so they haven't really a lot.
I know there's not a
yeah, like especially like you can request contract information, but they're not giving it out freely.
No. I want to dive into the CBA though.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird because the expansion draft really like changed a lot of things.
Yeah, aren't they set for another 2 teams going into next year?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought they were talking about, or maybe it's 4 teams 4 years from now or something like that. I could have sworn expansion was already being talked about again for the PW.
I mean, it's always being talked about, but whether or not it's sustainable, because again, these franchises are not owned. It's the league
Right.
is owned by, Billie Jean King, and then a couple out in Los Angeles, and I can't remember their names off the top of my head. So it's not like the fleet are owned by one company, one
Mark
group, and
Walter.
Vancouver is owned by another. It's all owned by the PWHL. So I think that's why. And the other thing is too is that these teams don't have their own arenas.
Right.
So yes, the takeover tour has been successful, but to say, but like I was actually surprised. I know why they put Vancouver and Seattle to spread the wealth out that way, but I was surprised that Detroit didn't get a game. I get a team because they've played in Detroit 2 seasons now, and they do very well in Detroit. So I think the next expansion, Detroit, you would see a team in Detroit.
That would make sense. Detroit's a huge. I think. Yeah, because they already have Minnesota, so Detroit would be a great.
Yeah, they have Vancouver, Seattle, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa. So they have 4 teams. They have 4 teams in Canada, and then 4 United States teams because they added Vancouver and Seattle. So they have Boston, New York, and Minnesota, and then Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, Seattle.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, the fact that Boston loses a Hillary night to an expansion team, like that just tells you where the league is at. Given it's what, 3rd year?
Yeah.
So
well, and that was one of the hardest decisions that Daniel Marmer had to make, was who to protect. Do you protect your aging captain, who is a pioneer of the league, or do you save Alina Mueller, who is going to be probably the franchise's all-time leading goal scorer?
Yeah.
That's like saying, do you save David Pastrnak, or do you save I can't even, like, would you can't say Char because that, there is, but you get what I'm saying though, like your young player,
like Marchand.
Well, even but yeah, you could say that Pastrnak and Marchand. Do you save the young goal scorer, or do you save the aging veteran who's gonna eventually retire? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like Dom's question. Honestly, could Korpisalo even beat out an Olympic women's hockey team goalie? I think not. It depends. How are they playing in front of him defensively?
I mean, the Fleet's defense is pretty solid.
Yeah,
but he's not taking the net from Aaron Frankel.
No.
I mean, Abby Levy can barely take the net from Aaron Frankel.
Yeah. Yeah, well, also the workload is a little different in that league, so Frankel's going to get as many starts as she probably wants.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, she's having a hell of a season, and
5 on 3
to it.
Let's go.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they all do in the Olympics. I think the Olympic break is going to be a godsend for the Bruins, just because.
But it's not even just for the Bruins. I mean, yes, it's going to be a godsend for the Bruins, but the entire league, the condensed schedule has really done this league no favors.
No, and that's especially the East. We went through all the injuries and stuff like that before. Right. Like, it's just a matter of getting healthy for a lot of the teams in the East. Like that's why, and I get it. That's where some of the people that are watching are getting their lack of contending for the Bruins, because you're projecting what's going to happen when, Barkov is back and Tkachuk is back. And, when the Islanders have had some issues, like Carolina's had issues. Tampa had issues earlier in the season. Now that they're healthy, it's less of a problem. Montreal's had problems. What happens if Toronto gets better? Like, there are a lot of things to worry about, but I would also say, Toronto has to get better first before they're a problem.
Right.
Like right now in your own division, keep that in mind. In your own division, if you have a 7-game series against Tampa Bay. How worried are you for this Bruins team?
Say that again.
If
Sorry,
you're
I was
going
watching
against
the game.
if you have a 7-game series against Tampa Bay, how confident are you in the Bruins to pull out 4 wins?
I think they can do it.
What about against Detroit?
Yes.
Montreal?
Yes, but yes, it's going to be a longer series, but yes.
What about Buffalo?
Yes.
Florida?
That's a tough one.
That's when you sit there and go, how healthy is Florida?
Right.
Because the other thing that you've got to look at too, and this is where the Olympics would help, say, Matt Tkachuk. Tkachuk's going to have rust when he comes back.
Right.
So the Olympics are going to help him.
Right.
Sasha Barkov, he ain't going to be back for the Olympics. So how rusty is he going to be?
Right.
Just because he's back doesn't mean he's playing well.
Right.
You know, like,
and Paul Maurice is smart enough to say, kind of like what Marco Sturm did, he's not going to come back and be put on the top line. He may play less minutes, work him back in the same way he did, the way Sturm did Pasternak. Paul Maurice is one of the smartest coaches. He may be an asshole, but he is one of the smartest coaches.
Same thing with John Cooper. John Cooper can be a total asshole, but he is one of the top coaches. Tampa Bay and Ethan Russell says no way they beat Tampa or Montreal. The thing with Tampa Bay
series.
Here's the thing with Tampa Bay, Montreal, and Florida. The part that I worry about is the coaching matchup. You have
the part that gives the Bruins the edge over Tampa and Montreal is playing a 7-game series against Nikita Zadorov, Charlie McAvoy, Mark Kastelik, Tanner Jeannot. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Mark Recchi said it point blank, playing a 7-game series against a hard, heavy hitting team, which was something the Bruins were lacking against Florida.
Yep.
Is 100% on the Bruins' favor than it is Tampa and Montreal.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, as far as like, if there's a coach who can coach around that, John Cooper can do that. Martin St. Louis can do that. Paul Maurice can do that.
I'm not sold on Martin St. Louis yet.
I'm not sold that he has the roster who he can work with to do it. I don't think Montreal is a complete product. So I worry about the coaching matchup, but I'm not 100% sold. Like that one, I think, like you said, longer series, but I favor Boston in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa, I think you can outduel a lot of the younger players that they're trying to work into their lineup because you are a more physical team. Mm-hmm. While the coaching advantage might favor Tampa Bay, I think the on-ice advantage favors you.
John Cooper has been known to make mistakes. It's John Cooper.
Absolutely.
He's not,
Exactly. Paul Maurice, same thing, though. I worry about the coaching matchup, but how healthy are they going to be? And can you do it? The answer is yes.
Right. But Florida, they have the same physicality as Boston.
Exactly.
But the other thing that Florida has over Boston is a proven winning goaltender.
Yeah, so does Tampa.
Yes, but But we were on the conversation of Florida. No, I know. We weren't on the conversation of Tampa.
No, I know. But
we were on the conversation because
Florida and Tampa are the two.
Tampa doesn't have the physicality.
They don't have the physicality, so I think you can wear them down. Yes,
right.
Florida and Tampa, I would easily say that goes 7. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had 2 or 3 OT games in there. Like that's how those series would go. But that's my point though, is those are the 2 teams that you're really sitting there going, I worry about them ish. Ottawa, I only worry about because they seem to have your number this year. That's the only reason why I worry about Ottawa. Realistically,
you know what?
You should be able to beat them.
But you know what though? Regular season, postseason, completely different. We've seen it.
That's what I mean. You should be able to beat them.
We've seen the Bruins get swept in a regular season series against any team and beat them in the playoffs. We've seen the Bruins win every game in a regular season series and lose a 7-game series in the postseason. That 2 different seasons.
Oh no, I agree with you. I'm saying that's the only hesitation that I have against them. And if that's my only hesitation against them, like you said, 2 different seasons. I'm
Right.
not that worried about it. And Toronto's been Toronto. They can't beat you worth a shit anyway. So there's only 2 teams in this division where I sit there and I
Yeah,
go,
but if you think about it, okay, the Bruins, how long did it take the Bruins to beat Montreal?
took them a while.
Right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you go
Toronto's going to break
if you
through
go
at some
back,
point.
but right, exactly. Toronto is eventually going to beat the Bruins.
I just don't see this iteration of Toronto beating this
No,
iteration of the Bruins.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen this season, but Toronto is eventually going to slay their dragon just like the Bruins slayed theirs.
Ethan says, good luck stopping that Tampa power play. Here's the thing with that, Ethan. How did they do against Edmonton's power play this last game? They can do it. They can shut down a power play if they don't take that second stupid penalty, making it a 5-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
So their ceiling is much higher than people want to give them credit for. So Dom said it best. Fast food mentality. People want this team to win now. They want players to be ready now. Be patient. They want Don Sweeney to make a move right now. Like, it'd be nice, sure. But let's see. The team that would worry me the most for the Bruins is the Bruins. Which one would show up? Thank you, Dom. That's the best way to put it. Which team are you going to get for the series? But if
which team are you going to get on any given night? Never mind the series.
I just realized what the time is, but I will say this: if your biggest worry is about your own team, that means your problems aren't based on what other teams do, which means you have to worry about fixing the problems that you have internally.
Mm-hmm.
So
get on the bus.
Yep. I want the Bruins to be bottom of the East by Olympics.
I'm laughing at it.
Okay, this is where Kevin went. We were wondering the other day where Kevin's been. He turned into Ethan. Ian says, what did I just walk into? I don't want to see the Leafs win ever in my life. Please and thank you. I don't want to see him win either, but she's
I don't either. I don't want the Leafs to slay their dragon, but it's gonna eventually happen. Hopefully it's after I'm dead, but I don't, whatever.
Well, yeah.
Every team eventually slays their dragon. The Red Sox slayed the Yankees. The Bruins slayed Montreal. It happens.
The last time the Leafs won the cup, I was just 5 years old. That's a long time. Thanks,
I wasn't
Tom.
even born yet the last time the Leafs won. But seriously, think about it. It's been quite a while since the Bruins won again.
Yeah, and yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking Leaf distance, but
no, but yeah, we don't really have. I mean, but the thing is both teams have been in the mix. Both teams have had chances and have had. I mean, if the Leafs could get past the first round,
the Bruins have had more chances than the Leafs have, because the Leafs can't get past the first round. They got past the first round once.
Yeah. Let's see. Other teams video the Bruins. It's clear they all know Bruins' weakness. Left D. Look where and on who they throw the puck. Well, right now they throw it on goal because it goes in. Also,
you don't think that every team watches videos on their opponents?
Yeah. We need to be in a position to get Chase Reed. Maybe that's the thing with trying to focus in and hone in on one prospect, Ethan, is also a gigantic mistake, because I bet you a lot of people were still thinking James Higgins was going 1, 2, or 3. Everybody had their prospect last year, whether it was Porter Martone, whether it was, James Higgins, whether it was, yada, yada, yada. List them all, right? All it took, what?
No, I'm my town is in the news.
Uh-oh. Usually that's not a good thing.
It's not.
Oh, boy. I don't even know where. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you go.
You've heard the rumors about the Budweiser plant that's closing, right? I mean, it's not a rumor. They're closing Budweiser plant in New Hampshire.
Oh, no, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they're closing the Budweiser plant in New Hampshire. It's
okay.
one of I think 16 plants that they're closing across the United States.
Lovely.
And there's been wild speculated rumors that have not been substantiated yet, but wild speculated rumors that they want to turn it into an ICE detention center.
Oh.
So they're planning a whatchamacallit, a protest in my town tomorrow.
Oh.
Anyways, sorry.
So which corner would that be? Would that be Andrew Peak's corner or Mason Lorai's corner?
It's both. It's both.
Oh, it's the net, huh? I don't know about that. Dom says I see it in Peak's corner more. Most teams are just trying to get the puck in wherever they make sense.
Yeah, just like Judd Surratt says, they're rimming it.
Also, what I was saying with Ethan's comment about Chase Reed, like,
yes, sorry.
No, it just came back to me. Like, if you're the Bruins sitting there at 7, every pick before you, you're sitting there going, I wonder who's going to get taken. Because guess what? You could have had Porter Martone at 7. You could have had James Higgins at 7. You cannot hone in on one player like that because you don't know what everyone else is going to do.
Right.
And so you have to be open to the idea of other players. Think about it. How many people honed in coming into the season, the Bruins have to go get Rasmus Andersson? Well, that dream gets shattered the second he goes, I don't want to re-sign in Boston.
Right.
You could still go get him, sure. Give up your 3 assets, go get him and have him for the season. Doesn't do you any good. And we were talking about it earlier with Mason Lohrei. People want to give Don Sweeney shit for not being able to develop players, but then they don't want to give players time to develop. It's the same thing. You don't want to give up assets to go get a player and then not have that player stick around because now your narrative is going to be he can't keep players. What's Don Sweeney's best asset been his entire tenure? The number one thing he's done the best of?
Trades.
Retaining his own players.
Trades.
He's done fantastic in trades. Trades is number 2, in my opinion. Re-signing players who want to be here in Boston, Don Sweeney has nailed it every time.
Oh, they want to be here in Boston that they see the value in. But he also knows when to walk away. Like, I'm so glad he did not give Jake DeBrusk what he wanted.
Exactly. He's walked away at the right times.
Mm-hmm.
And he has re-signed the right players. People last year crushed him for the Zadorov signing, the Hampus Lindholm, the Elias Lindholm signing.
Mm-hmm.
Zadorov's been your best defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
He's also been the one that stayed the healthiest. So far, that signing for that price, chef's kiss.
Correct.
Chef's kiss. Because he's also been one of the more dependable defensemen in the NHL this year.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not Cale Makar. But guess what? Nikita Zadorov would knock Cale Makar on his ass if he could catch him. Who would you grade Bruins scouting? I think he means how, because Minton is a keeper. Overall, their scouting has been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Don Sweeney flipped over the scouting staff as he got here, it's been better. Mm-hmm. It is continuously improved too.
Mm-hmm.
If you all we've gone through this, so I'm not going to go through it all. But David, we've gone through this plenty of times. If you go back, and if you want, I'll go through it with you too, because it's not that hard. If you look at the players that he's drafted, where he's drafted them, because that's the other key. when you're drafting primarily in rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, you're not getting the talent that people are getting in round 1. You want to look at a team like Montreal, for instance, first round draft picks, second round draft picks. Anaheim, first round draft picks, second round draft picks. Buffalo, first overall draft picks. Edmonton, first overall. They have Connor McDavid, San Jose, all top 2 rounds. Those are the picks that you trade when you're a competitor. That's what Don Sweeney hasn't had. So his average draft position has been 53rd. It's gone up a little bit because of, Dean Letourneau and James Higgins. But coming into those drafts, his average first draft position was 53rd. So to get guys like Mason Lohrei, who's still developing, yes, but he's still young enough to be a pillar on your defense. I know David doesn't agree with that. We'll have that conversation more later. He has still been able to bring in a guy like Fraser Minton. He's been able to draft a Brandon Carlo who got you Fraser Minton. He drafted Matthew Poitras, who, if he doesn't turn into a great player in Boston, will turn into a good player somewhere else or bring you a solid player. Right? Right now, the number 1 player other teams are asking you for is Fraser Minton. David, here that's kind of my point. Many draft choices from the Bruins are scattered around the league because they drafted him and other teams went, that prospect looks pretty good to us too. We want them if you want this NHL-ready player now.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard me talk about it. There's always 3 waves in your organization. There's your NHL players right now. There's their future core. And then there's the core that is in the middle who you work through as your injury replacements. And the guys that you're able to trade. Because guess what? Dean Letourneau, James Higgins, and Matthew Poitras. One of those 3 is not going to be a Boston Bruin at a minimum. And right now, I'd be willing to bet it's Matthew Poitras. Because
it's not because you want to see Matthew Poitras go. He's just odd man out.
He's odd man out, but he's also the tradable one right now. Like, yes, teams are going to want James Higgins, but you need an asset that's NHL ready right now to complement what you already have.
Right.
So you're giving up Pavel Zacha or James Higgins. Like, that's kind of the debate that you're having right now. Which way do you go? Do you trade Pavel Zacha or do you trade James Higgins? What's the piece you're getting back? Settle for a slightly less piece. Keep Pavel Zacha, who helps you now. You move on from Matthew Poitras. And by the way, you throw in the draft pick so you can get the guy that you actually want.
Right.
And then you lower your next draft position. So
you're starting to lose me.
I was just going to say, anyway, do you have any other thoughts? We've been all over the place. Everybody's had some great comments, but we're running long. So any final thoughts?
I just saw Ian's comment. Stuck in a prison that smells of Budweiser sounds like torture.
It does, because at least you can't drink it.
Well, so the whole problem is first of all, Budweiser isn't technically closing till March. The federal government cannot put a detainment center on anything that's not federal property. So they would have to buy it first, and Budweiser has to sell it to them. So, and all of the New Hampshire delegates, reps, congressmen, senators, even the governor, has said they've not heard anything about it, but it just literally got plastered everywhere, and the fleet just scored again. I don't know.
Let's leave on the fleet goal. I think that's a good.
Megan Keller, the new captain of the Boston Fleet, scored her 4th goal of the season.
Well, it's currently 2-0.
2-0.
Awesome.
36 seconds into the third.
Nice. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's been an awesome show. That's why we kept it going. I love the comments. That's what we're here for. So keep them coming. We'll see you guys all next week, same time. And in the meantime, go Bees.